Hello, I'm Josue Capetillo with the Dallas County Constable's Office. In this critical incident briefing, we will attempt to provide you with information regarding several deputies executing a mental illness warrant and how it turned into a suicide attempt call. On January 31st, 2024, at approximately 3 p.m., deputies from Dallas Constable's Office were attempting to execute a mental illness warrant at 1205 Burns Avenue in Dallas, Texas, on a Hispanic male named Miguel Hernandez. Upon arrival, deputies observed Hernandez jump on the roof of the house with a knife to his neck. Hernandez was screaming to the deputies that he was going to kill himself if the deputies did not leave. He told the deputies that if he did not leave, he would kill himself and it would be their fault. At that moment, the deputies were also approached by the suspect's mother, claiming he may be armed with a gun, as Hernandez kept a gun in his room and it was not in his room. Deputies immediately got on the radio and advised dispatch of the situation and radioed for cover units. The deputies advised dispatch of the situation regarding Hernandez attempting to kill himself and also possibly being armed. While cover units arrived, the deputies stayed on scene and focused on Hernandez, negotiating with Hernandez to put the knife down and come off the roof. They kept telling Hernandez that they were there to help Hernandez get help and not hurt him in any way. But Hernandez kept claiming he was hearing voices stating that deputies were there to hurt him and put him in jail for the rest of his life. As soon as cover got on scene, they immediately blocked off Kerneck Street and Burns Avenue. Kerneck Street and Burns Avenue were the adjacent streets to the house and were the only two streets you were able to use to get on scene. They immediately cut these streets off to prevent any other cars from driving up on scene or anybody else walking on scene. A nearby school was letting out at the same time this situation was happening, and a deputy was sent out to the school to advise them of the situation so they may be careful or stop the kids from coming out of the school until the situation was handled. Several neighboring cities arrived on scene to cover and help and assist with the situation. These cities were Dallas Police Department and Cockrell Hill Police Department. EMS was also called on scene for any injuries that may occur during the event, and also a fire truck would be used. The fire truck's ladder would be used in case we had to climb on the roof of the house to get Hernandez. The suspect seemed to only be responding to the two deputies who were initially executing the warrant. So those two deputies were left to negotiate with Hernandez. As we're taught in training, that if you build a rapport with the suspect, that initial officer should be the only one negotiating with Hernandez. Our department does not have a designated negotiator, but we did not feel the need to get one on scene as Hernandez was responding well to the officers. Hernandez stated that he would only come down if he could speak to his son. The deputies thought it was a good idea to call the son and put him on FaceTime and let Hernandez speak face-to-face. Hernandez's son advised Hernandez not to kill himself and to come down and let the deputies help him. He kept letting Hernandez know that the deputies were there to help him and not harm him in any way, but Hernandez kept claiming that voices were telling him that they were there to harm him. Deputies assured him that that was not the case and showed him the warrant that they were going to use to take him to go get help at Parkland. Deputies felt the need to be patient and continue to communicate and listen to Hernandez, and did everything in their power to keep the situation from getting any worse. Every cover unit and deputy and officer that showed up on scene saw that Hernandez was negotiating well with the two deputies, so they stand back and just stayed for cover. Hernandez listened to his son and agreed to come down. Hernandez was instructed to throw a knife and to come down with his hands up. Hernandez threw the knife and jumped off the roof and immediately was searched for any weapons. Hernandez did not have any other weapons but the knife. Hernandez was immediately evaluated for any injuries. Hernandez did not obtain any injuries during the event and was immediately transported to Parkland Hospital for further evaluations. The situation was handled appropriately as Hernandez did not harm himself or any other officers harmed themselves or any of the citizens of the community were harmed with this situation. but we could have avoided Hernandez from spotting us and jumping on the roof by the way the two deputies approached the house initially when executing the warrant. For further future events, the deputies were updated on protocols on how to approach buildings during warrant arrests. The department was also advised to take on several classes when dealing with negotiating with suicidal or any type of mental illness patients, and how to stay patient and advise them on how to handle the situation. The department does not have a negotiator designated for our department, but several offices in neighboring cities offered to help in any way when it came to a situation arising again, and advice we can use their negotiators if we still did not have one. But now the department is looking into getting a designated negotiator to handle these situations for future further events.